Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Microsoft Pulse, where you have Tamara Bredemus, Tom Duff, and Matthew Ruderman bringing you what's new and changed on the roadmap and talking about how it may affect you so you don't have to dig through this thing on your own. Let's go ahead and start off in development. That is the first of our four sections. We have in development, which means Microsoft is working on it. Rolling out, which means if it's in your designated tenant, you might see it soon. Launched, it's there, you just can't find it. And canceled, we're not going to do it.
Oh, I love it.
So let's go ahead and start off and being all safe and secure with Matthew Ruderman. What do you see in development that trips your trigger, sir?
I appreciate that you started with me, Tamara, because there are a lot of security-related
Yes,
purview
there
updates
are.
this
Yes,
week.
there are.
Welcome to the purview lightning round. We are going to start off with some sensitivity label updates across a couple different systems. We will start off with um, Teams meetings, where sensitivity label inheritance for Teams meeting artifacts is in development right now. Those artifacts include recordings, transcripts, loop notes. They can now will be able to be configured to inherit the sensitivity label that is applied to the Teams meeting itself. This is great because it saves you the trouble from having to go in and label your recording or label your loop notes or label your transcript. If you have a company that, if you work for a company that has a lot of compliance stuff you have to adhere to, this is going to save you hopefully a bunch of time. Again, this is in development. The expected release date is June of this year, and this is coming to standard worldwide tenants. The next one, and this one I'm actually very excited about because I asked Microsoft to add this feature 6 years ago or so.
Wow.
And that is the introduction of sensitivity labels into Viva Engage. Um,
Mm.
I love Viva Engage. I have launched Viva Engage at a large company. It's a great platform to keep your employees connected and aware of what's going on. You will now be able to manually apply purview information protection sensitivity labels to your Viva Engage communities. This will allow you to create the labels, configure label publishing policies, and manually label those communities. This is in development with an expected May release date, and this is also coming to standard worldwide. Now, let's move off of, nope, I'm sorry, I have one more label one. And this is the exclude modern group slash dynamic security group support for sensitivity labels. So this is allowing more flexibility. Admins will be able to exclude modern Microsoft 365 groups and scope sensitivity labeling policies to dynamic and non-mail enabled security groups. This is going to be a decision your organization is going to have to make as to whether or not this is valuable to your particular situation. But we're always a fan when Microsoft gives us more flexibility and not less. We like when you can sit and really think about what your policy should be and have the granularity to do that. A couple of other purview related items. From an e-discovery perspective, Microsoft is increasing the review set limit. Currently, the review set limit for cases in e-discovery is 20. Soon, in April of this year, expected, you will be able to have 100 review sets per case. That gives more flexibility and the ability to go deeper into investigations. Data lifecycle management inside of Purview, Power Automate integration with records management.
That one sounded interesting.
This one is interesting. So this will allow you to initiate a Power Automate workflow when an item reaches Easy for me
peanut
to
butter
say.
things.
Exactly. So when you have a peanut butter cup in your tenant, no, sorry, when an item reaches the end of its retention period, you will be able to utilize a Power Automate workflow to disposition what you want to happen with that file. Now you can build this directly into your retention policies at the core inside of Purview when you configure them. But this gives more flexibility if you've got some situations where maybe a specific document library, you've got an item and it's supposed to go into a specific archive, and you don't want to build that into a global policy. You want a more granular policy. You'll be able to do that with this feature. This is set for a June release, and this one is coming to GCC, GCC High, and DoD. I believe this feature has already been released for Standard Worldwide, which is why Standard Worldwide is not listed. Let's do a couple more Purview because they exist. Data loss prevention, unmanaged cloud app discovery and protection with Microsoft Purview and Palo Alto Prisma Access. Microsoft Purview Network Data Security will now be able to integrate with Palo Alto Prisma Access, extending the discovery features of your network and protection for your network traffic. This is going to allow you to configure Purview collection and data loss prevention policies to discover and protect sensitive data shared with unmanaged cloud apps via HTTP and HTTPS using the same classifiers, sensitivity labels, information types you have built into your core network. This one is set for an October release and will come to Standard Worldwide. And then lastly, two more for my GCC, GCC High, and DoD friends. We have endpoint DLP device status APIs. This will extend the APIs for endpoint data loss prevention within those GCC, GCC High, and DoD tenants, giving you more flexibility. That's got an April scheduled release. And then lastly, endpoint data loss prevention logged in user details on the Purview device onboarding page. This will give you logged in user information such as user email on the device onboarding page for Windows devices, bringing it in line with the Mac OS experience.
Cool.
Admins will be able to see which user is currently signed on to a device, making it easier to confirm ownership and troubleshoot issues. This one's also set for an April release, and again, coming to GCC, GCC High, and DoD. That's the in development Purview lightning round. Tom.
Whoa. I thought I was going to be left to languish here at the end.
No, go for it.
Okay, so let me pull my one over here. So I will stick with a lot of the Copilot things, which I normally do. One is intelligent summaries in the Copilot dashboard. So using these intelligent summary things that they've got coming out now in the dashboard, so it will quickly surface what's working and where targeted attention can accelerate Copilot adoption, which is probably big on Microsoft's criteria right now because they're like, use more, please. Intelligent summaries highlight key adoption trends to focus on areas of success. Suggested prompts enable deeper exploration of underlying trends and drivers. That's coming to worldwide standard. The dashboard is in Viva, and it's coming out due in April. If we go down a little bit more, I'm going to leave that one for her. Create Word documents from Copilot notebooks. Copilot notebooks allow users to generate Word documents using the Copilot notebook content that they have there. And if you haven't played with Copilot notebooks, it's kind of cool. I would highly suggest it. So Copilot can draft a structured document grounded in the content, which can be opened and edited with Word, helping users move from ideas to source material to a ready-to-use document with fewer manual steps. In the same vein, Microsoft Copilot create PowerPoint presentations from Copilot Network. So all the same thing, only now you're getting your PowerPoint slide deck. So that one's due out in May, standard worldwide, OneNote, because that's what Copilot notebooks are. And yeah, that's supposed to be out there really soon. So again, if you haven't used Copilot pages / notebooks, they are two different things. I highly suggest that you do so. And once you get all that content out there, you'll be able to do Word and PowerPoint presentations. If you still need kind of I still don't know what it's all about, what do? I would highly suggest that you go out and look up Laura Rogers and her IW Mentor company that she runs for training. She's done a series, 2 videos and a blog post on Copilot Pages and Copilot Notebooks. Highly recommended. I used it for doing a Copilot demo and training that we're doing internally. And her material was enough to give me, here's the concept, here's the ideas, here's how she used it in one of her examples, and it really cleared things up. So that's a really good option to go for. And Tamara, I will leave any remaining ones to you.
Fabulous. Well, things that trip my trigger in development. Microsoft Viva unread news notifications in connections. So this was delayed. And now I think it's back in development. And what
I hate when
happens
they
is,
do that.
I know. Users will receive a weekly notification in the Connections app in Microsoft Teams on mobile and desktop, linking them to relevant SharePoint news that they might have missed in the preceding week. This unread news will be available in the News tab in the Connections app under the unread pill. Do you want the red one or the blue one? Unread news, red news.
The choice is yours.
The choice is yours. But once you make it, you can't go back.
Yes.
Microsoft Teams standardized preview experience for Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. So Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and Excel files now open in a standardized preview within Teams, or it will come June, on Android and iOS, delivering faster performance and improved reliability and more consistent viewing experience, which is great if you're viewing the same document during a meeting or people are on their own version of the document doing editing in the meeting. It makes it a lot easier. Then we have attendee capacity packs for team events. Attendee capacity packs provide increased capacity limits for team events. Organizers can scale event attendance beyond the base limits while maintaining a consistent Teams event experience. So this is coming out to the worldwide, and it's coming out in May. And then multi-select in new Outlook and team calendars. You can now select multiple appointment meetings in new Outlook for Windows and Teams calendars using the control and click to select individual items, or the shift and click to select a range. Now, once selected, you can take common action across all the selected items. Delete all of them. And click anywhere outside of the selection to clear it.
I was thinking decline.
Yeah.
Decline all. I need more free time. Well, now you have 40 hours a week free. All right, Outlook. Font improvements in Outlook for Android. Now, when composing emails, users can change the font color and add highlight color to their text. Additionally, users will now have an easy access to recently used fonts in the font list.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Back to Comic Sans real quick.
Oh, dear. Anybody else have anything in development?
No, you covered the one that I had that I didn't cover, so thank you.
Okay. Let's move on to rolling out. And Matt, what do you have in rolling out?
I have 2. One of them is Microsoft Purview, eDiscovery add sample to review set. So when you're in eDiscovery, previously you had to essentially use an entire query output to then run your search results against. Now, rolling out now, theoretically by the end of the month, which I hope Microsoft realizes is really soon,
Yes.
you can actually choose a sample set of data to run that against, as opposed to having to run against the entire query, which should run faster, and meet review objectives while reducing unnecessary data ingestion. And this, as a reminder, is coming to standard worldwide GCC, GCC High, and DoD. And I talked about this one, gosh, probably a month ago now. It was in development at the time, and it is the SharePoint admin policy for expiring people in your organization links. I actually just had a conversation with our primary SharePoint administrator about this last week. As a refresher, this will allow SharePoint administrators to configure an auto expiration timer for people in your organization links shared from SharePoint Online and OneDrive. This closes a bit of a, I'll call it a compliance gap that's existed for a while with those organization links. You create them and then they live forever.
Now you'll be able to, at some point.
Yes. And from a security perspective, there could be a very viable use case to share an organization link, but do you really need someone 5 years later using that link to access the document? I'm going to suggest maybe not. So now administrators will be able to configure a time frame. It could be 30 days, it could be 90 days, or a custom period. So whatever works best for your organization, you can now have those all company links automatically expire and close a little bit of a security hole for you. That is coming out to SharePoint Online and OneDrive in standard worldwide, GCC, GCC High, and DoD.
Woohoo!
That's all I got.
Cool. Tom, what do you like?
I think being that I don't have a lot of ones selected and none of them are Copilot, I'm going to go ahead and pass over to my wife. And that way I think the rest of our evening will go much better and I will see what she doesn't talk about.
I'll let you have some fries.
Thank you.
All right. My fries. He'll get his own fries, but I'll let him have some of my fries.
Yay.
Microsoft Teams with mayonnaise.
Oh, yay.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So Microsoft Teams activity in other accounts and organizations. Users can view and respond to activity across multiple tenants without switching accounts. So you can triage notifications, reply to chats, and pin tenants to the left rail for quick access. I'm so excited about this.
This is going to be a big deal for us because we're going through an affiliation process right now, and we're going to be doing a second one after that. And being able to easily see their team's environment and ours together will make a huge difference.
Yeah. And then Microsoft Teams report a suspicious call in Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams will include, by the end of March, a capacity that lets users flag calls they believe are unusual or suspicious. When a call is reported, the signal helps Microsoft strengthen the security measures and reduce future unwanted or malicious call activity. This feature empowers users to actively contribute to real-time threat detection, enhancing organizational safety. And this is coming out through Microsoft Defender for Office 365 to the worldwide tenant. And then I thought this was interesting. Voice tethering. I had no idea what it was when I first read it, but what it does is it builds on the recent introduction of the sign language mode. It ensures that when an interpreter voices for somebody who's using the sign language mode, the person who is deaf or hard of hearing, or is using captions or transcripts attribute, or that the captions and transcript attributes the spoken content to the signer rather than the interpreter. This provides accurate representation in the meeting and makes it clear who is contributing to the conversation. It also improves downstream meeting intelligence, such as Copilot, so that notes, summaries, action items, and insights are attributed to the correct participant. And that's coming out worldwide in GCC. The last one I have is improved results when filtering your message list in Outlook. When you apply a filter in the message list, Outlook and iOS now helps you search for all matching messages, even older ones that aren't currently synced. If more results may be available, you can tap to run a search with the filter already applied. All right, let's step into launched. Matt,
Whoa,
what do you
whoa,
have in
whoa,
launched?
whoa, whoa,
What? What?
whoa.
What?
Whoa,
What?
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 Tom didn't get to do rolling out.
I thought you didn't want to do rolling
I
out.
wanted you to go first so I didn't step all over the things that you were going to talk about.
All
I
right,
don't
you're
Like
know
gonna
what
have
activity
that
in
would
other
all
entail,
my
accounts.
Tom.
fries then. You're gonna have all my fries.
I have one item. And it's
You're not getting all my fries for one item.
wow, I'm just getting whipsawed here on what I'm eating tonight. So it's Planner Agent, and Basic plans. Planner Agent will now be available for M365 Copilot licensed users in all Planner plans, including Basic. This is really cool because leading up to this, it's like, yeah, there's an agent for Planner, but you don't get it unless you've got a premium plan. And now they're basically saying, if you have Copilot, you can use the Planner agent. And we've had some people like, well, why can't I ask questions of Planner? It's like, because you don't have the right level and we haven't rolled out premium. So this will be really nice. Rolling out now, basically will be in March. So cool.
Great. All right, now can we go to launched?
Yes, now you can go to launch.
All right, we're going to launched. Matthew,
To
what do you
launch.
like in launch, sir?
I got one item. Microsoft
Fabulous.
Purview Compliance Portal. Endpoint Data Loss Prevention. Always on diagnostics for Windows endpoints. Phase 2. Admins can retrieve always on diagnostic traces directly from Windows endpoints and selectively upload them to Microsoft through the Purview portal at the same time of any investigation request. This could be during submitting a support ticket. This will help to eliminate disruptions from end users when they're having issues. And a support team wants to report those issues to Microsoft. It will greatly reduce the need for user coordination, which will lead to more seamless troubleshooting capabilities. This launched this month, and it should have come to standard worldwide tenants. So if you want to look for it and you're in standard worldwide, it should be there. Have fun finding it.
Tom, why don't you take everything else that's in launched?
Okay, Microsoft Edge version 146, desktop visual search. This is basically going to send images to Bing Visual Search so you can identify images, people, animals, and shows. So this basically allows you to reverse image and figure out where it's possibly at. This will be available on all Windows devices, and admins can control availability using this feature using the visual search enable policy, so you don't have to give people access to it. And the one that I was going to talk about is OneDrive. Set a custom name for the OneDrive sync folder. Yeah. This I think is really cool. I thought initially it was anybody can name whatever they want. It's like, no, the IT admins can say, instead of you having a 57 character company name for your syncing of OneDrive stuff, you're going to do like a 3-letter acronym or something, which gives you a lot more room to play with when it comes to URLs. So that is now launched and out. It's coming to OneDrive worldwide. And by default, the folder is named OneDrive organization name, which can consume valuable paths links for deeply nested files and folders, which you shouldn't be doing. With this new policy, admins can set a shorter organizational specific folder name, reducing path links and giving users a cleaner file system experience. So
Brilliant.
that can be useful.
I'm excited about that.
Close
Not because
out,
I have
dear.
a deep folder structure.
No, you do not.
I do not.
I've listened to you do the metadata session countless times.
Yes. Folders should not be used for describing files. All right. In canceled, we have Microsoft Purview Compliance Portal, e-discovery, efficient review with advanced minimization algorithms.
Microsoft to my body.
I beg your pardon.
Advanced minimization algorithms.
Correct.
All right. So Microsoft has decided not to proceed with the efficient reviews and advanced minimization algorithms, and they apologize for any inconvenience, Tom.
So sorry.
Just be over here fat. That's it.
So Microsoft Teams, private organizer and presenter chat for structured meetings and webinars on Teams Rooms on Windows. It was just a duplicate. So they're still moving forward with that. It's coming out in May to GCC High and DoD. But it's a duplicate. They had 2 of them. So don't worry about that.
Cool.
Someone
All
hit
right,
Control C too many times.
Yes. Does anyone else have anything for the good of the order?
I do not. I've got another meeting coming up in like 1 minute.
Fabulous. Well, that's all the news that's fit to print. Thanks so much for showing up and have a great day. Bye
Bye,
now.
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.